No.
Hell to the no.
We're still working on that.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
That's every day. I say you learn how to resolve each argument as it comes.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I've accepted too is that we're on each other's team. You know, always keep that in mind. Like, you know, we're not against each other, even though we have disagreements. We may not always know how to resolve that or communicate well, but at the end of the day, I know that he's not my enemy. So we may disagree, but at the end of the day, we still love each other and we'll figure it out. We'll come together once everybody's cooled down and thought about it, you know, and also what can I do better? You know, there's always room for improvement. Yeah. And we talking to hash it out eventually, but have we mastered it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Never. Nothing about a relationship that had to.
Sure. How we communicate.
Yeah. Not thinking like, okay, our relationship has to look like this or be like this. Being open, you know, even with our own standard of what, as an individual, what I think my husband should be or what I think a wife should be, you know, because I have this in mind, but he's a totally different person than I am. He was brought up very differently. His views, even though the core of us is the same, but he's very different than I am. So I can't expect him to be this, and this, you know, and say, you need to fit in my mold. No, you have to be open and let that person be who they are. I had to learn that. I had to mature in that. Like, let him be who he is. Love him. And of course, you know, there's compromises, but you know, just let him be free. Be free.
Friends. Being friends.
He was my friend. Definitely. Even though he's a grown man, you know, we're married and we have kids, I still feel that 6th grade old Jedediah that we laugh and we have fun and we joke. He's still that silly guy. Of course, he's mature, but he's still that fun-spirited, joyful individual that I feel like I can be myself with. He can be himself with. We talk, we laugh, we joke. You know, being friends and being honest and open and feeling like it's a safe space is the best thing. And that's what made me fall in love with him. And two, first of all, he's fine. I may not tell him that all day because I don't want him to get big headed, but he's my man. He's fine. And his confidence. Hey.
I'm working on my 6-pack.
Not that daddy belly child.
I'm working on my 6-pack.
You look about 5 months pregnant with me, child. We having this baby together. But you know, his confidence. I love that. I was always drawn to that and that we could just have a good time, man. Just be us. And I love that. I love that then and I love that about him now.
Yeah. Ooh, the only role, the major role, the key role, the biggest role.
Mm-hmm. The only role. God is love, you know, and even the Bible says, you know, all these things will pass, but the only thing that will last is love. Yeah. And you have to learn, the only way that you can learn to love properly, because people love, but they don't love correctly, that you could truly know what love is to know God. And to allow him to love on you. And when I learned to be loved by God and love God above my man, I love him, but I don't love him more than I love God.
Dude, like, I know for sure she loves God more than me because she doesn't know if God have a 6-pack. She doesn't know if God is sexy.
What?
That means the love is unconditional. God is key. I would say, I don't think no one or nothing can hold people together the way that he can. When both parties are leaning on him to keep them together. And I don't know, maybe God do got a 6-pack. You don't have to wait till we get there to find out.
We'll see. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm laughing.
I'm going to base my answer on what you say.
Don't do that. I get on him a lot about, you know, the kids and everything like that, but truthfully, he is the best dad ever. I love that.
You recording this?
Shut up. I love how he plays with them. You know, he is very hands-on. And especially with our daughters, you know, having that close daughter-daddy relationship and seeing that and seeing how he loves them and how he tells them they're beautiful, how he plays with them, how he takes them out, how he gives them ice cream. It's beautiful, and to me that's important because that's the first man that's in their lives and they don't know how important that is and the role model that he is. He's true to his word. He's not out here, even how he treats me is an example unto them. He's not out here just slanging his dang-a-lang and, calling me out of my name or being disrespectful, and how he puts God first. And they see that, and I pray that they find a husband like him or even greater.
I'll say my wife is a phenomenal mother. I always knew she was going to be a great mom. I didn't know how much good of a wife she was going to be. But I knew for sure that if I gave her kids, that she would be a great mom. And she is. And I think for the most part, we pretty much agree on everything with the kids.
Yeah.
There hasn't really been much of a disagreement with that. We pretty much agree on everything that we do with the kids, how we raise them, how we want them to be, where, how we treat them. We pretty much, I remember this one time, she did kind of get on me because I was trying to make our youngest daughter do something and she just was not cooperating. And I just got belligerent and I'm like, no, you're going to do it. And she was like, she's like, I didn't like that, because you're not a female. You don't understand our emotions, our feelings, and how that could come across. So you could have handled that better, or you could have let me step in and handle it. I'm like, you're right. You're right or whatever.
The most important lesson I want them to learn, the most important, is keeping God first. Whether they're single, whether they're married, I pray that our marriage is an example of God's love. And that they even see us individually, within our marriage, but individually, how much we do our best to put God first, and how much we value each other, and how much we value them. And I pray that they see that, and that they just take it to the next level. I truly desire that. I want them to know what love is, and that God is love.
I would say what I want them to take from us, most importantly, yes, God, but also respect.
Yeah.
Because if you respect yourself, then you can respect others. And I think we both respect ourselves a pretty high regard. If I said that right.
Yeah.
And it allows us to respect one another. Because, like she said, we don't talk to each other crazy. We might sometimes get a little, snappy and things like that. But as in calling each other out of our names or, cussing each other out. They never seen that. And we don't do it with or without them. So I think that's very important, is to respect one another. And when you respect one another, like she said earlier about one of the questions that was asked, that you realize you're not against each other, you're for each other. You just don't understand each other all the time. But it doesn't mean that you're at odds or you're an enemy. Even if you go to sleep sometimes and you kind of don't want to talk, but I'm still going to be there. You need me. I'm still going to show up. If she coughed too hard that night, I'm going to pat her back.
You may pat a little hard, maybe beating me like that, trying to get your lick in on the low,
but yeah, most definitely. Most definitely respect, because they ain't never seen me put my hands on their mama. They ain't never seen their mama put her hands on me. And she bet not ever think about doing it.
I be wanting to.
Because then we would be fighting. I think that's the most important, is respecting one another, because we don't disrespect each other.
Is it a song that we can sing for? Do you know me?
You know me not.
Do you know me?
You know me not.
Do you know me?
I'm looking at the screen.
We need to come over.
You know me not.